Hey everyone, it's Procreate Letters here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm gonna give you a really cool tutorial on how to use the app Procreate, which you can see right there is the icon. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe and like this video. So click on the plus to add a new canvas and select your size. I chose screen size. Now zoom in so that you can see the whole outline of your canvas. Now on this buttons right here, you can change the size of your brush. See, when it's lower, it's smaller, and when it's higher, it's bigger. And on the second bar right here, you can change the opacity of your brush. See how it's less opaque when I move it up. Now, these buttons right here are undo and redo. So if you click undo, it undoes the action. And if you click redo, it does the action all over again. Now, here is a brush tool. There are many brushes you can do, and you can also download some brushes. There are calligraphy brushes, there are elements, there are abstract. There's a lot of brushes, so you can just play around with that so you can get a sense of what they all do. Now, I'm going to show you some cool things. The blender tool right here blends things to the canvas. So I'm going to select soft brush, and you can see how when I press it onto the color, it blends it to the canvas. The bigger the size, the bigger the blender tool, just like in a normal brush. You can also use this to blend two colors together, and this is how I mostly use this tool, and it looks really cool. The eraser tool is really cool because you can actually change the brush of the eraser. So for example, you can choose the brush pen icon and erase with that and make some really cool designs like I'm going to show you. If you paint the whole background, you can do cool stuff with the eraser, like write some calligraphy or lettering or whatever you want really. Now the color tool is pretty cool as well. Here's the color wheel. You can change to whichever color you want, and you can make it lighter or any shade of that color. In the classic button, you can also change the color. It's just some different settings to that. And there's also the palette right here. So if you want to save that teal color, you just click on there and you can click that color whenever you'd like to use it. Here on the palettes, you can just delete this and start a new one once you're done with it, or you can also save it. You can just create a new one, and there you have all the space to save all the colors you want to use. Now on the value thing is just another way to change your colors, and here it shows you the complementary color. For example, if you're looking for the complementary color of blue, it's yellow. For pink, it's green, and it shows you exactly which color you're going to need if you want the complementary one. Now let's talk about layers. For example, if I draw something on this layer and then I want to write something over it, so let's change our color to black and our brush to a calligraphy one. Let's write the word hello. So there's the H, the E, the L, and the other O. But I don't really like how the E turned out, so I want to erase that. But I erased the background as well. That's where a layer comes in. Let's undo that and add another layer. And let's write hello on that layer. Now, I don't like how the E turned out in this one as well, so I can just erase it without erasing the background color, since I'm just in that layer. And you can just add the other E. Now, when you swipe, you can delete the layer, you can duplicate it as well, so you have two of the same layer when you don't want to draw the same thing twice. And there's also some tools once you click on a layer. There's Alpha Lock, which basically just lets you color inside the lines of what is already colored in. So I can't draw on the white, just on the purple that I already colored. This is really cool if you don't want to go outside the lines of something you're coloring. Now let's look at some other features. There's the fill layer, which basically just fills the whole layer with the color that was selected. Let's undo that. Now, rename, just basically you can rename your layer. You select your layer, you copy your layer, and we already went over those. Clear, it basically just clears the whole entire layer. There's also invert, which turns it to its complementary color. And there's reference, which I'm going to show you what that is. Let's add a new layer, and let's draw a little circle. Now I want to color that layer in, right? So I'm going to choose a blue color, and I want to color that in. And now I want to change the color and add some shapes to it, but I can't since I'm going to go over the black. So I click reference, I move it, I create a new layer and put it under the reference layer, and now I just color drop that in, and now I can move around and add some new colors to that without going over the black outline. Now to merge layers, you just click on them and pinch them down, and you can merge them. And you can let's undo that. There's also, you can merge them on the merge down tool. Now on brushes, let's select a monoline brush. Let's select a purple pink color, and let's draw a circle. So if you want your circle to be perfect, just hold it, click edit shape, and click circle, and you'll have a perfect circle. This also works with other shapes. So let's clear this and let's draw another shape. Let's draw a square. So if you draw your square and you hold it, it makes all the lines straight, and if you click edit shape, you can change it to whichever shape you want. Rectangle, square, or whichever you want. This also works with lines, and you just hold them and they become straight. Now let's undo that. I'm going to show you another feature. Go into brushes, I'm going to click brush pen, and I'm going to write the word high. And if we click on the cursor thing on the top left, you can just move it around to wherever you want. You move everything in that layer. But if you want to just move the eye, click on the thing next to it, click freehand, circle the thing you want to move, now click the cursor, and you can move it to wherever you want. Just that part. You can move it closer, and yeah. Now I'm going to show you some other things you can do with the cursor. So let's draw a squiggle and let's draw a circle. Now, in the cursor there are a lot of things. There's flip horizontal, which basically just flips it. Let's flip vertical. Let's rotate 45 degrees. These are all self-explanatory. There's fit to screen. Let's undo that. And yeah, there's distort, which basically means you can move it anywhere and distort the image. There's uniform, which means you can only move the thing in its original form. And there's freeform, which means you can make it wider, and you can also make it taller or shorter. And there's warp, which basically you can just move it to wherever you want using the tools over there. You can just move it to wherever you want. Now, another cool thing about this is you can click reset and it just resets it to what it was originally. There's also the grid, which gives you a more of an idea of what you're moving. Now I'm going to show you what you can do in the tools section next to gallery. Now you can insert a photo. It's basically just insert any photo from your camera roll. You can take a photo, and yeah, you can also add text, and you can just write Procreate on this, and you can edit the style, edit the font, and just play around with that so that you get a feeling of what each one of them does. There's also cut, copy canvas, stuff like that. And under canvas there's a lot of cool stuff as well. There's animation assist, which helps you create animations, but I'll make a whole video about that. There's also drawing guide, which helps you see where you're drawing, and there's also a lot of features on there that I showed you in another video. But see, you can just click symmetry and move it out to wherever you want. There's perspective. There's isometric, which is like a kaleidoscope, and there is a 2D grid. Let's click that off, and you can also flip your canvas horizontally or flip it vertically. And there's share, which basically you just click a way to share your canvas. There's video, which basically just shows you a time-lapse replay of everything you did on the canvas. There's also prefs. There's the light interface, which when it's on, it's white. When it's off, it's black. That basically moves that thing to the other side. The brush cursor just shows you, well, I'm going to show you what it does. Let's add another layer. Let me make the brush bigger so you can see. It's the little circle at the edge of my brush that shows me where I'm drawing. That's basically it. Another thing is project canvas, which is for projectors. And yeah. And there's help, which you basically just ask for help for Procreate. Now, I'm going to show you what the magic toolbar does. For example, if I draw something and I want it to be less opaque, I click on opacity and you can just change the opacity of what you drew. Or whatever is in that layer. There's Gaussian blur, which basically just blurs everything out. And what I like to do with this one is I like to create gradient backgrounds. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Let's erase this. And let's switch our brush to airbrushing soft brush. Let's choose our colors. Let's some pink, some purple. Now let's do some blue. Now some light blue. Let's do some teal. And yeah. Now let's click on the magic wand, click Gaussian blur and blur it, and swipe. And you can see how all the colors just merge together. You can do it a lot merge or a little merge. I usually like to have it in the middle. There's motion blur, which is basically just the same thing. There's also noise, which basically just makes everything pixelated. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see. It looks really cool. There's also Liquify, which are a lot of cool things on there. Let's just zoom out so you can see the whole canvas. There's Push, which basically you can just push all the colors in the canvas. Let's reset that. There's Swirl Right, which basically just moves everything around. There's Swirl Left, which moves it in the opposite direction. There are also settings on there. Size changes the size. See, smaller, bigger. You can also change the pressure when you're liquefying. And the distortion as well. You see how it doesn't go everywhere and it just spins around. And the momentum as well, you can also change it. Now let's back everything up. I'll show you pinch. Pinch just makes it smaller, expand makes it bigger. Crystal crystallizes everything. Then there's edge, which gives it more of an edgy look, I guess. There's reconstruct, which basically makes it to what it was before. And you can adjust and adjust, and on reset, you reset everything. They're all Photoshop tools, which you can use as well. And yeah. Now, I'm going to show you how you can duplicate your drawings. So first, let's draw something. Let's draw a circle. And let's add some dots into it and make it look like a cookie or a really bad cookie. Now go into layers, swipe and click duplicate on the layer you want to duplicate. Now click on the cursor and there you have two without having to draw them twice. Now, let's go into brushes and click monoline. I'm going to show you how you can do some 3D lettering. Let's write the word hi, just a simple word. Now let's duplicate this and change our color to a gray. Let's color drop that in. And now let's move it below the black layer and move it to the left so that it has that 3D effect. And if you want to make it even cooler, let's duplicate it again and turn this layer white. And once again, color drop that in. One of the layers, move it below the gray one, and move it to the left again. And there you have a really cool effect on such a simple word. Now, some shortcuts. I'm gonna show you some shortcuts. If you tap with 4 fingers, the whole thing goes away. If you tap with 4 fingers again, it comes back. If you tap with 2 fingers, undo. 3 fingers, redo. And yeah, that was my beginner's guide to Procreate. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.